In this episode of the Quiet Impact Podcast, I don't know about you, but there's been times in my life when I've made moves and they were wobbly at best. I'm going to talk about some of those wobbly situations and share some insights on how you can make your next move, even if it's wobbly. Welcome to the Quiet Impact Podcast, where we nurture the journey of introverts who desire to achieve greater levels of influence, income, and impact. The go-to podcast for introvert achievers just like you, seeking purpose-driven growth. I am your host, Stephanie Oden. Have you ever desired to have a mentor whisper success secrets into your ear? One with firsthand experience as a six-figure corporate leader, expertise in entrepreneurship, and is an introvert? Tune into each episode where we will provide valuable insights into how introverts can effectively navigate life with full-time jobs, pursue career success, and delve into entrepreneurship. We will explore various business and career topics related to self-discovery, achieving success, and finding joy in the journey. My guest and I share real-life experiences, strategies, tools, and resources that will encourage personal and professional growth, self-empowerment, and living an authentic, purposeful life. Let's get into today's episode. We are not shy, timid, or needing to be fixed. We are an introvert, and that is our superpower. Introverted AF-F. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble. That's a dance. I don't know if you know how to do it, but if it comes on and you know how to do it, you're one of those that is getting up and actually doing the dance. And sometimes when you're getting ready to go to that next phase in your career, I remember it when I was going from being a coworker to a leadership position. I also remember it being wobbly when I decided to start a business while I was still employed, and that was not heard of. Wobble. But wobbling didn't just start there. It started a long time ago. Do you have a bike? I remember the first time I saw my cousins riding a bike, and I didn't know how to ride a bike yet. And of course, nothing like cousin school. There were no training wheels because I was learning how to ride their bike. I didn't have one of my own at that time. They put me on. They were on both sides of me to start me out, gave me a good push. They let go. Wobble, 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 right into the bushes. Total wipeout. And these were the type of bushes like that were very full, right? I grew up in the South, and so it was very full. And what's so interesting about that was really a life lesson right there is yes, I ran right into the bushes. But with the right encouragement and environment and circle around me, you know what I did? I got right back on that bike. I didn't look at the bike and say, oh my gosh, I ran into the bushes. I'm never going to ride again. Second time I rode it, still wobbly. You know what wobbly is, okay? It's where you're not, you're a little bit unsteady. I also remember another incident where I was riding my bike. We had a curved driveway. We had gravel. Do you know what happens when you attempt to brake in a curve on gravel? You're going down. And I did. Got a little bumped, a little bruised. I still got up. I got back on the bike. I didn't stop riding the bike. Let's fast forward to me being an adult. Hadn't ridden a bike in years. I wanted a bike though. The kids had one. I wanted one. I wanted a special one though because I really do like purple a lot, and I wanted a purple bike. My husband, will call him the Mister, which I typically do. He found a purple bike. It is a beauty. She is gorgeous. And remember, I hadn't ridden a bike in years. But this bike made it worth riding because I was going to look good on this bike. And of course, I got the helmet. It's a beautiful purple helmet because the helmet had to match the bike. I'm an adult. I got knee pads. And I think I had elbow pads too because cannot afford to go down. Realizing that it's going to be wobbly, I got the support that I needed in case I did go down. There's a lesson right there. First time I get on it, I start out on the sidewalk. I am super wobbly. Like I'm very timid. I'm like, oh my gosh, I dare not get in the road. There's cars in the road. There's cars. I'm not gonna get in the road. What is interesting though is because I had experience being wobbly in the past, it was not foreign to me. And I was able to lean into it. It's like, okay, this is okay. I can feel this. I can start to get my bearings. The more I got my bearings, the more it came back to me that, oh, Stephanie, you know how to ride a bike. This is just a different bike. This is a different situation, but you know how to do this. You've been prepared for this. You just didn't have a bike. But yes, it's wobbly, but you've been prepared for this. First time I rode around the block, I thought, okay, I'm just going to stay on the sidewalk. There's cars out there. Then my confidence started to grow. I thought, I'm good. I'll go around the block in the street. I was in the street. I'm on it now. I'm less wobbly. I'm more aware of what's going on around me. I'm less inside of my head. Pedaling became automatic for me. Guess what else I did? I went 3 blocks and came back. I wasn't as wobbly in the end as I was when I started. Real life is wobbly at best. I remember one of those wobbly moments was when I went from being a coworker to an executive position in leadership. That was wobbly. I hadn't done that part before. The other one I remember distinctly was starting out being a new entrepreneur. Wobbly. The way you go from being in that wobble position to confident is continuing to do it, finding ways to do it better, investing in resources that help you to be better. I'm gonna share 5 things as they pertain to life and life being wobbly as you experiment with expanding your comfort zone. Right? Because you do want to move from your comfort zone to a zone of growth so that over time it expands your comfort zone. What may have been a small circle, now you've expanded it and you've allowed yourself to step in some new opportunities. And just like in my situation, when I got back on it, I remembered that I knew how to ride a bike. So riding a bike wasn't new. One of the things you can think through as you're making your next move, and you know it is wobbly. The wobbly moments teach us how to balance, they teach us resilience, and there's an art to navigating through life's uncertainties that we learn all of that in the wobble. And you want to remember, every great achiever had a first day on the job, a first opportunity as an entrepreneur. Everyone had a first. And even though sometimes you can look at people, maybe you follow them and you look at them and you think, I can't even imagine that they were ever wobbly. They were. The second one I'll share with you is commit. Commit to the process, not the outcome. Now, when I look at the process of me riding the bike, I was committed. I didn't know what I would look like when I got done, but I was committed because I had to ride the cute bike. I had to look cute on the cute bike. I had to ride the bike. Commit to the process. Success comes from the consistency and dedication. How did I get better with riding the bike? I rode the bike. How do you get better with being a leader? You lead. How do you get better with doing the tasks and things you need to do to grow your business? You do them. It is not going to be a smooth ride. If somebody sells you a smooth ride avenue, it ain't true. I am in a Grow Rich mastermind. And one of the things that we talk about every week is the long cut is a shortcut. And as you are wobbling, pedal out of it. As you're moving to the next stages, keep pedaling and be fully engaged in the process because the results you seek will follow. When you do the things that bring success, success will naturally follow. Pedaling the bike was getting me somewhere. The bike in the garage, getting me nowhere. Pedaling the bike, even wobbly, was getting me somewhere. I shared that I fell a couple of times. I fell in the bushes. I fell on the gravel. And I promise those weren't the other times that I fell. Every time you fall, it's a lesson and not a failure. Now, I have heard this, and I'll be the first to tell you that it really doesn't feel very good in that moment, especially if you give yourself an opportunity to get in your head and analyze all the things. But on the other side of every failure, the opposite of it is equally possible. You're going to learn how to better navigate your journey. You're going to be a better master. And listen, think about the bike riders that ride in the Olympics or competitively. They've had to, haven't they won the first time that they were on the bike? And they had a wobbly moment, but they continued. And I'm sure they fail. I've seen races where some of them actually fail. They got back up, figured out what they needed to do, and they didn't stop doing the things. You don't step away from being an entrepreneur because it doesn't all happen in 1 month. You don't step away from being a great leader, from empowering others to do the things that you see in them because you're inefficient in one area. Here's the next one. Fear. That first time as an adult that I got back on that bike, I was nervous. I didn't know what it would look like. I thought, oh, am I going to be embarrassed? Have you thought that in your entrepreneur journey? Have you thought that? Oh, I'm going to be embarrassed. What if somebody sees me? Okay. All right. What if I don't get this right? Instead of letting the fear paralyze you, use it as motivation. Every wobble, courage, ability to move beyond limitations, and progress towards your goals. Every pedal, every wobble gets you closer. And then here's the one that's often not thought about is using the power of your mind. One of the people that I study and I listen to a lot of his information, and you can find him on YouTube in various talks and things that he did, is Dr. Joe Dispenza. And really looking at how your mindset can be conditioned for success. Now, I am a geek. Like if you would say, what's your hobby, Stephanie? My hobby really is studying the neuroplasticity of the brain. I know when I learned how to say that word, I was like, yeah. Every emotion you think creates a chemical reaction, and that creates grooves in the brain. So, very much like balancing on a bike and it becomes muscle memory. You can train your brain to adapt to new circumstances with positivity and grace. And thinking through, and you may have heard the story. I think it was Michael Jordan that he did so many free throws and he visualized the win. That is all legit stuff that works. It's not funky woo woo. It is legitimate. You can visualize with emotion, and I'll share more on that later. With the emotion of success and confidence and joy, you can visualize it and feel it in your body. And if you're feeling it in your body, it's going through your brain. As you go through and it's wobbly and you're not certain, think about what you're thinking about. Rewire your brain to support the journey that you're going to. Think about what your team will look like that you're leading. Envision how you are all high performing, how you're all independent and interconnected at the same time, how you're all on the same goal. Visualize an entrepreneur that you're serving the people that you're called to serve powerfully, and that there's joy, there's gratitude, there's confidence, there's peace, all of that within what you're looking to do. And even as it's wobbly, what you're holding in front of you is that powerful vision of, I am getting better. Every day in every way, I'm getting better. So, those are the 5 things I wanted to share with you on how you could take the lessons from riding a bike starting out, how it's wobbly at first, and you can turn that into a life lesson as you go into the next phase. Make the move, even if it's wobbly. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble. Thank you for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Remember to head to my website, stephanieoden.com, and get your copy of the Success Pillars for Quiet Achievers. And you get instant access to that. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Quiet Impact Podcast. Join us next week. And thank you so much for watching, for listening, and for subscribing.